Hello, my name is Joe. I'm the creator of this website. Blog spot, I guess, is better. But if you're on here, you probably know why you're on here. You have anxiety. An anxiety disorder, I guess, is more politically correct or whatever. I too have an anxiety disorder. I'm clinically diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I guess generalized anxiety disorder, but I also have panic. I don't really know how the diagnosis goes, but I do have panic attacks, so I probably have like panic disorder too, I guess. And depression, apparently. I don't know. Apparently my depression is more because I'm sick and tired of the anxiety, which, fine by me, I mean, whatever. Take medication for that sort of stuff. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 16. I've had a great life. My parents got divorced actually 3 years ago today. Today's Memorial Day. America. And they told us Memorial Day 3 years ago. I'll never forget it. I don't want to get into that. Makes me sad. Don't really. I've been sad a lot lately, so don't want to get into that. It's been a rough adjustment. My dad's remarried. I've learned some things I didn't want to learn. I'm not going to get into the details of that either because that's pretty personal. But for the longest time, I never told anyone my feelings about it. Which they say repressed feelings is a big cause of anxiety, so that's probably why. Oh well. So my anxiety is way better. Recently, past 4 or 5 weeks, I've been doing 10 times better. In the past 4 weeks, I've only had like 3 or 4 panic attacks compared to having one every other day. Way better. And it's such a difference. But, so, I know, though, when my anxiety was bad, I spent time in the mental hospital, which was a mistake because we thought it was different. I found out quickly that I was not like those kids. I mean, those kids were cutting themselves, tried to kill themselves, wanted to kill themselves. Awful things. Awful things. It was scary, and I have nightmares about it to this day. That doesn't help my anxiety because I get crazy thoughts like, what if you have to go back there? Anyway. But when I was at that point where I was bad, my anxiety was terrible. I couldn't sit through school. I couldn't sit through anything. I thought I would die, And I'm sure you know that feeling if you have anxiety. You even may be at that state right now. Don't worry. I'll help you through. I know how important it is to know a friend. And obviously I'm not your friend because I don't know you. But think of me as a friend. And how important it is to know someone or to hear a testimonial from someone or a story of someone who has the same thing. So it helps you feel a little more normal about it. Obviously, it's not normal to have this, but if other people have it, you feel like it's more common. So I'm going to tell you about my story. Actually, up there. Actually, I'll just put up there on my website. Blog, once again, is my story tab. I'll go more in depth. This video, I'm going to teach you about what a panic attack is and my experience with my panic attacks. And I'll tell you about the beginning of mine. I'm not going to explain every single one of them because that would be crazy. So don't worry. I'm going to get you through this. I'm not going to get you through this, but I'm going to help you. You have to get you through this, and that's the only way. Let me start off my introduction to my diagnosis. February 16th, 2013. The worst day of my life. No, not the worst day. One of. I was sitting at home with my family, my mom, my brother, and my aunt, watching a movie, The Green Mile. Tom Hanks, that really big black guy's in it. Michael Clark Duncan. He's in it. He died recently, but he's pretty cool. He's strong. watching that movie. Green Mile is about Tom Hanks, who he's a prison guard on a high security prison in Tennessee in the late 1940s and 1950s, and it's set on the death row inmates, and he like is he's not warden, but anyway, he's like works in the death row part. He does the execution stuff like that, which to me, I've always okay. I play Call of Duty, you know, I've done all that stuff. I watch action movies. I love movies like Act of Valor, Zero Dark 30, superhero movies, all that crazy stuff. I love it. I love it. And criminal law, criminal justice to me, it's always kind of interested me. Like I like those crime drama shows. Or I used to. Like they're just interesting to me for some reason. I don't know why. So I figured this movie would be okay. Well, it has some pretty graphic scenes of the electric chair. It's awful, and I'm not going to get into it because you have anxiety, so you don't want to hear about it. So I was sitting in my bed that night. I had finished my prayers. I'm Catholic, so I was doing my rosary. It's about a 20-minute prayer. Put that away, sat down for bed. I started to shake. I started to have struggle breathing. I've had asthma my whole life. Mild. It's called mild persistent, I think. Asthma. Always had that. So, yeah. And I started to freak out. I thought I was dying. I soon found out that was very common of panic attacks. And of my own. I rushed into my mom's room. Mom, I'm having a panic attack. Anxiety, I don't know what's going on. Of course, before that, I've never had anxiety or panic attacks. Although, looking back on my life now, I can probably point to some specific incidents where I was probably anxious or had an anxiety issue. But let me get to that. That'll be another video or something. And I rushed in there. I had no idea what a panic attack was. I just screamed it out. I'm having a panic attack. I sat in my mom's room for like an hour, 2 hours. It was late at night. I couldn't fall asleep. And for about a week and a half, I was fine. I was happy, back to normal me, joking around, all that stuff. Then, I was at my dad's house. And we're just watching TV, and I launched into my worst panic attack at that time. Although, the very next day I would have my most intense panic attack ever. And I'm going to get into that. Let me tell you about this one first. Sitting on the couch, got this sinking feeling. And this became very characteristic of my panic attacks. Sorry, I have some sinus infection. That became very characteristic of my panic attacks. A sinking feeling in my stomach, like someone dropped a 10-pound weight in my stomach. Kind of like when you take off on an airplane, when your stomach kind of drops. That's how people describe it on an airplane. Got that, got nauseous. I even threw up, sweating, dry mouth, all sorts of stuff. My dad saw this, realized something was wrong, went to the emergency room. We decided we need to go to the doctor. The next day, I got chucked out of school, on my way to the doctor in my mom's car, launched into the most intense panic attack I've ever had. It was frickin' scary. I was sitting in the car, and I didn't know what would happen at the doctor's. I wasn't scared about it, but I started to get this sinking feeling, and then shaking, hyperventilation, which caused some like dizziness and tingling in my arms and legs and feet and all sorts of different stuff. Lightheaded, dizzy, dry mouth. I was taking swigs of water. I was downing water like my life depended on it because I thought it did. So, and I was bouncing off the walls of the car, like I was put my hands like on the console and was like lifting myself up for some reason. I was like violently like cracking my knuckles. I was going insane. I was like, am I having a seizure? Am I having a heart attack? I'm 16. Are you having a heart attack, Joe? You're 16 years old. You play sports year round. You're fine. That's what I couldn't tell myself that. Got into and so my mom saw this and said, hey, we gotta go to the emergency room. Got to the emergency room. I think this was February 26th or something. We got it, or 27th actually, which had been 3 months ago today. Crazy. Got in there. You know, they're asking, we go up to the counter and I'm doing like push-ups off the counter and all this and running around the place. All these people in the waiting room are looking at me like I'm nuts. Which I probably seemed at the time. I can laugh at it now, but I couldn't then. They're asking me all these questions. First name, last name, middle initial, social security number, insurance number, date of birth, address. They're asking me all this stuff. Finally, they get to the question. What's going on today? Why are you here? I'm having a panic attack. I literally yelled that. Everyone's looking at me. Then we sat in the waiting room for like an hour. Then we went into a screening room. They took my blood pressure, my vitals, my pulse rate, and all that stuff came back fine. Then we get into another waiting room, smaller waiting room. Sat down, instantly fell asleep. I was exhausted. Then finally they call my name, Joseph. And then my real name's Joseph, but I go by Joe. And we're walking through the hospital, and we got to my room, and we waited, and they did more vitals, and then the doctor came in, and he goes, listen, what you had was a panic attack. It's very common. I had them when I was a kid. You're going to be diagnosed with anxiety. It's not going to be an easy road. You're going to have to go to cognitive behavioral therapy. Do your best. You'll get over it. Tell yourself everything will be okay. It's your body's reaction to your stress. He's like, listen, we'll do an EKG. An EKG is an echocardiogram. I don't know. It checks your heart. They did that, came back fine. They prescribed some heavy dosage pill, like a benzo, which apparently is highly addictive. I took it for about a month. I haven't taken it in like almost 2 months, so. And I don't feel any negative effects, so I'm glad. But then, that was my worst panic attack to this day. Since then, I've had 42 panic attacks in 3 months' time. It hasn't been easy. Panic attacks are no fun. I'm sure you know that if you have anxiety. So let me explain what a panic attack is. And my good buddy Geert, he's not really my buddy because I don't really know him. Geert is his name. He has this app on the iTunes store, and he has a website too. It's called ilovepanicattacks.com. And he has all sorts of great videos and audio and all sorts of stuff. He sends out a weekly newsletter with videos. He had panic attacks for 14 years. Can't imagine. He explains panic attack as this. And he has a really cool English accent, he's from Belgium, Brussels. He has a really cool accent. I don't think it's British, but it's really cool, so I encourage you to look that up, and that'll be in my resources tab on my blog. So, panic attack basically is called the fight or flight system. The fight or flight system is a system in our body. It's basically our body's natural fire alarm. It alerts us when danger's near. Let me explain. Close your eyes. Imagine you're walking in the jungle. You see all the beautiful flowers, plants, trees, all that stuff. All the animals, birds. You smell the smells. You see rivers flowing. Suddenly you come across a bush. You see a little orange speck behind the bush. Okay, what's that orange speck? Is that a flower? Maybe. Suddenly the orange speck jumps out at you, and suddenly you're face to face with a full-grown tiger. And mind you, this tiger is not Tigger. He is not Winnie the Pooh. He's not Tigger. He's not Tony the Tiger. He's a tiger, ferocious beast. Suddenly, you're going to have this reaction in your body, adrenaline rush. You're going to hyperventilate, your heart's going to pound, you're going to sweat, dry mouth, lighthead, dizziness, vertigo, all sorts of different stuff that will allow you to flee the tiger and outrun that tiger and go to safety. So obviously, that's a good thing. If it keeps you alive, that's gotta be good, right? Yes. Um, and at that moment, you're not gonna be thinking, hey, am I having a heart attack? You're gonna be thinking, is that tiger hungry? Does he want to kill me? So when you get that reaction in everyday life, at the grocery store, at a restaurant, at home, at school, at work, in the car, driving, wherever you may be, and you get that reaction and there's no immediate danger, your body looks for danger. And for me, my body most commonly looked to my symptoms. I became a hypochondriac, and I still kind of am. So your body looks for those signs, looks for danger, and your body thinks there's a tiger in front of you when there's really not. That's when it becomes a panic attack. And that's what a panic attack is. So obviously, it's good to have that system in your body, but when you have that system during everyday life, it's not a good thing because you don't need it then. You're not trying to survive. And that's probably where some of that delusion from anxiety comes. Obviously, having a ton of panic attacks like myself, you're gonna contract anxiety disorder and whatever. So that hopefully better explains to you what a panic attack is, so you can understand better. You understand what you're going through. And listen, it's normal. 40 million Americans struggle with anxiety disorders. 1 in 4 people will have an anxiety disorder at some point in their life. That's 25%. That's a pretty big percentage compared when you look at it. So, have no fear. Well, I should not say that. I hate when people say that to me. And when people say relax and calm down, I hate it. People don't understand. But, if you come to this blog, and granted, we're just getting started. I mean, this is my first video. I'm not too nervous because I'm not really in front of anyone. But I'm going to try and do these videos. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to. I'm on summer vacation from my school, so I probably will be able to do it a good bit. Maybe every week. Subscribe to the email up there. Subscribe by email. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how that works. It's my first ever blog, I think. So, subscribe to that. I have some other helpful tabs you can see across the top of this website, Look at those. Don't be afraid. And always remember, panic attacks are normal. Anxiety is normal. It won't kill you as much as it seems like it will. And here's a good quote that I love. It's from Rocky Balboa, my favorite movie series of all time. Life ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving. It's pretty inspirational for anxiety. Thank you so much for coming to this blog and continue to check it frequently. I'll see you later. Signing out, Joe. I'll see you guys later.